also a couple of upcoming things. So on Thursday, your JLabs are due. Thursday. Also, your 8-ball packet is due. It will be one summative grade that each page grade is averaged to. So if you want it checked, I might give you time at the end of class today to work through whatever. If you want it each page checked prior to Thursday, you have to come see me after school Tuesday or Wednesday. But Thursday, you're going to turn in your 8-ball packet. You need to get to at least a 7 in the packet. If you do more than that, great. If you do less, then zeros will be average for those. So make sure you get to at least a 7.
But if you get to a 7, you can still have 100.
If you had hundreds on everything, yes. Okay. Alright, so JLabs and 8-ball packet are due on Thursday. Your test nav, the rest is due on Tuesday. You have 2 Delta Maths that are due today. So those are all the upcoming things. Today, we're going to go through the SWL packet on your desk. This is like last minute, and we're going to do this on Tuesday too. Listen, this is last minute. What questions do we have? What questions on desmos do we want to go over? I don't remember how to do this at all. Can we do it by hand or in desmos? For any questions throughout the packet. So you guys look throughout the packet and find any questions you want to see you go over. That can be in order, it can be out of order, it does not matter. Everyone should have an iPad on. Okay, well, yes, everyone should have an iPad. Okay. What's my actual on the after this. Oh, yeah. Alright, so in this word problem, I'm going to highlight important information as we're reading through it. Membership to a streaming network is $50 a year and $3 per movie rented. At the end of the year, has spent $176. How many movies had he rented? So with each of these, you're going to want some equation and then use that equation to find your answer. So because this is just 1 year, the 50 is just going to be by itself. At the end of the year, that's the total amount he spent, so we're adding. And then $3 per movie, we need some variable. Sure. I'll just write it off to the side. M is number of movies. And then we know it's going to equal 176. So you could do all of these problems by hand, but using desmos, you could type this in, but with X instead of M. And then find what that X value is. And that would be your answer, 42 movies. Have any questions about how we did that in desmos? Now is the time to get any confusion you may still have clarified. What other questions do we have?
Is it going to work for all of them?
The word problems?
Yeah.
Because each of them is going to be either one equation or a set pair of equations. All equations can be solved in desmos.
Can you get 23?
23. Sure. Great. 23 on the same page. I'm just writing down the problem so we don't completely. Concert tickets cost $20 in advance and $25 at the door. There were 784 total tickets and $17,830 was made. We need to find the number of each type of ticket sold. So here we are comparing two different things, which means we're going to have a system of equations, two separate equations. Call your variables whatever you want. Let's say A and D for advanced tickets, tickets at the door. And then to set up our two equations, we are given four numbers. Three of them are going to go together in one. Everything with money goes together. So that would be 20A plus 25D equals the 17,830. The other one, we're given the total tickets, the 784. How would I set up the rest of that? A plus D. Now, in Desmos, you can only use X and Y. So if you wanted to change those, that's fine. I'm just going to put X above A and then Y above D so we know which one is which. We're going to put both of those into Desmos. And then you have to zoom out, and we're going to find where those two cross. And where those two cross will be your two answers. You just have to remember which one is which. Your X is going to be the A, the advanced tickets, 354 advanced tickets, 430 tickets sold at the door. 354, 430. Question about that, how we solve that in Desmos. So the answers were 354 for the advance and 430 for the door tickets. What other questions do we have?
Can you go over a little bit on like input and output?
So find a question with that.
What? I don't know what it is.
It's 7, I think. Find a question with that. Two. I was thinking the solving inequalities.
Yeah.
A5, number 2, and then Jack helps you find a problem. We'll do that one. inequalities can be solved directly in desmos. So for number 2, I'm going to type in that inequality. Make sure your x's are lowercase. Everyone should be putting this into desmos. And then you're going to get either a dash or a solid line. The dash would tell you this would be an open circle. If it was solid, that would tell you it would be closed. And you're going to put wherever it starts. X is its dash, so greater than 2. The interval notation is like your domain and range, reading it left to right. So it starts at 2 and it keeps going to the right towards infinity. So that would be parentheses 2 to infinity. And then if we were to graph that, open circle at 2 going to the right. Questions about that? Jackson, did you find a problem?
That'll be around 7.
Yeah, it's somewhere in 7. I don't remember the letter. Because I also don't know if you're talking about function notation or relations.
Function notation.
But it's in 7, so look through all of A7 and keep going.
If it's less than or equal to the shaded circle?
Yes. 8.5C. I want to say 3. Oh, wait, sorry, not that page. That's the inequality we're calling. Okay. Which one? And pick one. Okay. So A5C inequality word problems. Number 15. Okay. Maria drives an ice cream truck. She only has 40 cones left in the truck. The double scoop sells for $3, and each triple scoop sells for $4. That's so stupid. She needs at least $45 in sales to break even, meaning she won't owe money, and she won't have made more than breaking even. Okay. And then what is the possible combination of double and triple cones she can sell in order to make enough money to break even? So in this one, we are comparing 2 different things, triple and double scoops. So we need 2 different inequalities. So for your variables, it could be number of each. Let's say the x is for the double. Here. And then the money's going to go together. The 3, the 4, the variables, and the 45. How we set up that inequality. 4y. And then give, say that again. So it's not going to be equals here, it's going to be
Oh, yeah. Greater?
it's going to be greater than. So at least we want 45. If we get more than 45, that's great. We don't want less than 45. So it's greater than or equal to 45.
It was a good shot.
Gotcha.
87.
You're talking about a problem. We're not done with this one. Okay. And then for the second one, we know she only has 40 left. You need to figure out how many she have left. So because she only has 40 left, which symbol would that be? Less than or equal. We can use up to 3, but we can't use more than what we have. So, yep, go and put both of those in the desmos. Okay. So then the answer, what is a possible combination of double and triple cones she could sell, is anything in the overlapping. So someone tell me an answer that might work. So anything in the overlapping.
0 to 20. 20, 0 for some.
20, 0. So if I did, I'll write that over there. If I did 20 double scoops and no triple scoops, sure, that would work. What else would work?
Is that what our answer?
There are multiple answers. That's just one. That's just one.
Oh.
Give me one more. That might work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. So the opposite of what I said earlier. If I were to zoom out, really anything that would fall in there could be an answer, as long as you don't go over 40. So once you start to go over 40, then it gets messy. Jackson, what question? What did you get?
7 and 8.
7, number 8.
Did you pass it? Good job. I say good job.
No, I got.
Because nobody hears it when you fail.
Bye. We were just calling it mention. Don't even say
What are we
that's
doing?
not original.
8, 7, what are the letters?
What?
A, 7.
8.
So A, 7, C, D.
Yeah.
Okay, for A7CD, number 8, anything that are intercept problems, use desmos to find them. So go ahead and put that into desmos.
We do number 8, right?
Number 8, yes, sorry.
Is it basically just
So this is just looking for the intercepts. What are the x and y intercepts? So you could put the f of x, you don't need it. So do you have this in desmos? So when it's asking for the intercepts, if you click on the graph, it'll give you the x and y intercepts. You just may have to zoom out to see that. And you would write those as ordered pairs.
What are the numbers?
Number 8. So negative 3, 0, 2, 0, and then, sorry, not that point, the other point. 0, negative 12.
Wait. You want to put the first two first and then
It doesn't matter. You just need to list them all.
okay.
Oh, really? Oh. Good last part. Couple days. Okay.
Oh.
Alright, sorry. What other questions do we have? Want to go over? Jackson, I don't think that's what you were talking about. So we said look at A7 and E, because I think that was what you were talking about.
17?
17.
So,
Can you go over 38?
8,
2.
yeah, it is.
8, all three. Or this one, okay. 8, number 2. So make sure you're on that page. Which page? 8. Variation. Alright, and then with number 2, you can put these in desmos and look at the graph to see if they're direct or inverse, based on if they look like these two graphs. But like with questions like B, I'll show you what these are. So let's go ahead and put in the table values for A. And we're doing A right now. No. So when we put in those values, it almost looks like a line, but if you look close enough, the slope is not the same. And then I can kind of see this curve. I just don't see the other part. So I would think because of that, it would be inverse. And then just to double check, I would multiply these. You can do that in your head, or I'll just do that here so we see it. And if you get the same thing for each one, then it was inverse, and that was your answer. If they weren't the same or one of them wasn't the same, you would try direct, see if it was a line, start dividing, and then if those weren't the same, it would be either. For part B, so if I look at those, just the points, it looks like a line. It looks like they're pretty spaced out evenly. But in order to count the slope, they're so far from the origin that would be difficult to do. It looks like if I kept going, it's going to cross at 0, 0. But just to confirm, I'm going to just, so it looks like it's going to be direct. I'm going to divide 84 by 12. 119 by 17, and 140 by 20. And if we get the same thing for each, then it was direct. So A was inverse, B was direct, and then C, I'll put those in and see what happens. Those don't look like a line going through the origin. It kind of looks like a curve. So if I think it might be, I don't think it's direct, and I think it might be inverse. I'm going to multiply these, see if we get the same number. So it started to be, but then it wasn't. So it was neither. And if you started to divide them, you get the same thing, that they're not the same. So inverse, direct, and then neither for your answers.
Can you repeat the question then? 60.
Don't
It was different about the rotation and the bottom.
Yeah, so those have more than math.
My bio was 40.
And
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
40.
I think it was, yeah, I think it was.
world history was 73.
Yeah, world history has so much that it's crazy.
They have the most, don't they? Don't they have the most?
How many
World
questions?
history. I think because there's so much to remember.
And then reading, like English, like,
So I think it's two parts. It's
Oh, we did.
Writing
I'm
and
literally looking on music on way up the stairs.
Jackson, did you find one?
Yeah. A17. A17 13.
13, you said. A7E, and then we'll do number 13. Okay. Evaluating. Yep, evaluating functions. So evaluating functions is like your function notation, the last thing that we learned about. So for 13, we're given some equation, function, and we have to find the range given the domain. So you can do one of two things. What it says in the packet, type it in, and then put in f of each number, or you can put it in a table. Either or is your preference. So I'm going to type in the equation first. You can put f of x equals, or just put 2/3 x. Minus 1. And since we're looking for 3 different things, instead of me typing in the x value each time, I'm just going to make this a table by going into the gear wheel and hitting table. And then I'm going to put in those 3 values for x. Well, 0 we already have, -1. So then we just need -12 and 6. I'm going to put those in for x. So then our 3 numbers would be -9, -1, and +3. So whatever the problem is given, so like 12 and 13, the problem is given to you in curly brackets, your answer should be in curly brackets. But at 10 and 11, the answer is asking for a specific number, so you would just find that specific number. Questions on that? Other questions? given, because it might change. It might be the graph, it might be the table, or the pairs, it might be the mapping. And then you just have to do whatever else they ask. So in this case, we just want to fill out the mapping, fill out the graph. If you want to label this x, y, or f of x, you can do that. So for your x's, you're going to put this in least to greatest, no repeat. So I see 2 repeats, I'm just going to put 1 in. And then same thing for your y's, least to greatest. And then I'm going to map them together. So -1 to 4, 4 to 3, 5 to 0, and then -1 to 1. And then plot those 4 points. It doesn't ask this, but is this a function? Because of the negative.
Can you do number 12?
So very similar to what we did for 13, put in that function and then find each number. Make it a table by going into the gear wheel. And then you need, when the domain is -2, 0, and 1, which happens to be given, you can get rid of the other 2 if you want. And then write those 3 numbers for your range. So, -56, -54, and -. So let's say in the same problem, they gave you those 3 numbers, 56, -56, -54, -44. Those are the same thing. Anyway, this one is weird because of the quadratic. You're going to end up with 2 numbers for some of these, but you would, if these weren't already given, you would just start guessing. So let's actually come up with something else. Let's say whatever this was. Okay. Let's say I had to find when y was -14. Find x when y was -14. You would just start putting in numbers. I see this goes up. The higher these go up. So I would just start putting in, okay, maybe I think it's 3, not really, 4, and you just start guessing until you get there. Other questions? Make sure you're looking through the whole packet. If there's anything that seems unfamiliar, you don't remember how to do it, or the directions don't make sense. This is laws of exponents. Okay. A to A, and then number 3. whether it's multiple choice or just type in the answer. You can do desmos. If it's multiple choice, you can check it, do it in desmos, and check it. If it's not, you can at least check it in desmos. So using your slider rule, I'm going to type in the original and then start typing in the answer choices. But I'm going to do that over here because it's a lot.
Yeah.
So type in the original first. Yes, put the A, B, and C. Press 7, B squared, C to the third, 21, A to the fifth, B squared, C. And then once you have everything, add in all the sliders. Change them. I would say keep them positive, just so you don't have to deal with negative bases and flipping and things like that. Just change them all to something positive, something different. And then start putting in your answer choices and see which decimal matches. So I see it's not A. Please switch for B. B squared. Switch to the third. Not B. And this should be squared. Not C, so then by default it would be D. Because those are the only two that match. The original and these. Questions on that? So if it's multiple choice, use the sliders. If it's not multiple choice and you have to find the most simplest form, use your exponent rules, remember your exponent rules, and then check it using the slider rule. But for number 6, we're going to do the same thing. But instead of A, B, and C, you're going to use X and Y, and you need to capitalize the X's and Y's. We're just going to get rid of all that.
Mad about this. Why would it go down?
Use the arrows and your keyboard.
Oh my stupid. Wait, what arrows? There's arrows above the backspace.
Yeah.
Those go up and down?
No, if you just press it like forward after you put the X on it, it'll put it down.
I just kept clicking on it.
Yeah, me too. I was trying to do that.
And then make sure you have all the sliders. And then you can put in both answer choices.
Oh, wait.
Wait, so how do you divide equals 4.9?
So after you put in the original, it'll ask you if you want to add in sliders.
Yeah.
You just hit add all, and then you just change it to some numbers.
Okay. Any number.
Any number. I would make it positive though. I'm going to say it's not A, so then B.
Oh! Exactly.
Anyone need help seeing that one? Or have questions on that one? For either of the ones we just did we want to see either of those done by hand?
Don't we get desmos on
Okay.
So you get this.
Okay.
The only difference is you won't see folder and image.
You'll see table.
No.
See, but I won't.
We
That's
don't
a
use
check
folder.
How do you know?
No, that's his real name. Is Harold your real name? No. I'm just calling you that, sorry.
Yes, you'll use the desmos calculator. But if it's not multiple choice, this slider only works to check. You have to know the rules if it's not multiple choice.
A, B, C, which one? Or C is. Oh, yeah. A, C. Which one? Just go over here.
Eight. Okay. A3C number 8.
Oh, I'm not good at this.
For your radical operations, anything with just numbers, put it into desmos, look for the decimals that match. So for 8, I'm going to put in the original, we're going to start putting in answer choices and see which one matches.
Is there any question on this one where we're not allowed to use the calculator?
No, you will have the calculator the entire time. Now there'll be questions you can't, that desmos won't help you with. Yes, but when you type in your square root, you can use this, or you can type in the letters SQRT. You shouldn't get a decimal. I got 84.
Oh, wait.
So in this case, it was 84.
You just put it in.
It's not Now, if it did give you decimals, then you would put in either A or C and see which decimal matches.
Oh, it's B.
It is B, correct.
Oh.
So I did just say that.
Then simplify radically to safely.
Yeah. You would use the slider also. The slider will also. Was there one of those you want to see?
They look complicated.
Yes, there's no C.
No, we're just sitting forever. Do you
This is
have
new C.
Yes. So we're just going over whatever the questions you have in that packet.
Where'd you get on the bonus share?
Oh.
Hey, I have friends about higher. 600 for it.
Yeah.
Oh, the Sammy store one did so well.
Yeah, my friend got
Sammy.
more than I got a 600.
Not that I to
I already got that. I'm happy about it.
almost 70 questions.
Even if it's
I'm pretty sure it's
Yes, on the same page.
yeah. Oh, well, that is
Alright, so for this, you're gonna use the same rule as before, except you might have to capitalize E because it's a number. E. It is a number. So we'll do this one just so you see what happens. That's the number for E. So you'll have to use capital E.
Oh, what?
Wait, there's a number for E?
Wait, is there a number?
You'll learn that in algebra 2.
Wait. Can you like show
Is there
me
like what the number for E?
Is there like a number for like every letter?
Is it like pi?
Just I and E.
What's I?
It's imaginary.
It makes your mouth tweak out.
It's imaginary. It's the square root of -1.
Wait. So wait.
Is capital E?
Okay, so yes, use capital
Never
E.
use I as a number. Never.
You will in algebra 2.
Oh, fun!
But in like the real world, I'll be like, oh yeah, I got 80% on the test.
It's in logs and exponentials. So whatever that's used in the real world.
Say log.
Logs.
Logs. Say log. Bam.
Oh.
6.
Yeah.
7. To the third. Okay, so capitalize E. Add in all your sliders. Because this is square root, all of your numbers need to be positive, otherwise this won't work.
What if it was?
It would say
Well,
undefined.
it would be an I.
It'd be.
That is where you would use I, correct?
Yes.
She found it after 4 seconds. Usually on the other.
Because I comes before.
Start typing in your answer choices
In the alphabet?
and see which one matches.
E comes before I in the alphabet. Do you need to go back to kindergarten?
I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's for that's all it is. So what? Oh, Miss Thorpe.
Yes.
Can you do a question on like
There, it's in the graphing section. Transformations. So find that, and then let's finish this.
Oh my gosh, we used to do these. I love doing these.
Yeah,
those are the Oh yeah, the SOL. I think this should all just be out of choice.
No.
Oh.
Okay, so it's not A.
Oh jeez. It's not A.
It is not A.
I love your hair. No, the curl. I need to go sharp.
A to the third, F to the third, G, 3.
Me too.
Well, not three.
Me too. This is what happened. I tried to straighten it this morning.
I'm gonna say it's B. Oh wait,
It's B.
Wait. I forgot. Because there will be 2 that match.
Yeah.
It is B, but if you were to put in D, you would get the same decimal, but you need to know it's whichever is most simplified. So it is B as in boy.
Wait. How is it most simplified? Because C has less like thingies.
See, that's what I was
They're not. Wait. I thought it was B.
Yes, it does, but if we were to do it by hand, you would have like a F and a G in there, and you would still need that. So I could type in C so you see what happens.
Wait, why would we use an F and a G?
If we did it by hand.
Like in the square root.
Hold that up. C, 6, E, 2. So if you just put in C, you don't get the same number.
Oh, I thought it was between B. I thought you said it was.
It is B. If you put D in, B and D will give you the same thing, but D is not as simplified.
How is D not? Because of the 12?
Because of the 12, yes.
But then the 3, so it just has to be simplified
Inside. It has to be most simplified inside.
Is 12 a perfect square?
But 4 is. So that goes into 12.
No. No, because, wait, no, it's not.
Hold on. Did you guys find the question?
Nine.
Nine is, yeah.
No, I don't know which one that is.
6 something. What number?
Something.
4, thank you. I go home and I get right in front of the
Sorry.
It's
8, 3,
It's
number
number
4.
Huh? Sure can.
On the same page. Okay, got it.
Oh, right.
Okay. We're gonna do number 4 on the same page, and then once you guys find your questions, we'll do that.
And then I found 7, but I don't know which was. Oh, wait, no, I didn't.
It's 6, not 7, but.
Oh.
So for 4, you can use your ABC. You could either go into functions and scroll all the way down to get your cube root, or you can type in the letters C, B, R, T. Add in all your sliders and then do the same thing. With your cube root, you can make these positive or negative, it doesn't matter. But square root, you cannot. Six.
We put in all sliders and then, yeah, you should match.
Not A. Square C.
Wait, Miss Ball,
Yes.
if it's no solution, does that mean it's an I?
So you guys won't get that. Oh, for quadratics, when it doesn't cross the x-axis and you get no solution, that's where you would use I.
It's a fake number. It's not real.
I don't understand what.
Why do you have
to understand
Why do you have to make things so complicated? Wait,
It's
if it's an imaginary
Okay.
number, how's it imaginary?
You guys are worrying about something you don't need to worry about right now.
Yeah, but like,
But you made it
so
serious.
much more complicated than it used to be. Like,
I did not come up with this. I just have taught it previously.
I'm very
C to the 4, cube root O, 5.
I don't know. Like,
imagine it.
so then how is it a thing? If
I just don't imagine it. I don't know. It's not real.
D was the correct
I got
answer.
95 on reading.
Right. With your simplifying radicals, it's the same thing as your exponent rules. If it's multiple choice, the slider desmos works just fine. But if it's not multiple choice, you would need to simplify it and then double check it in desmos using your rules. Did you guys find the problem?
No. Hello?
6C is what you're looking for.
Slope.
6C.
Oh, 6. So like when you have to write it like out, like super less steep.
That's
6C graphic linear equations.
but continue.
Oh.
Oh yeah. This is
So A6C, the graph and linear equations continue, number 27. Alright, with 27, you are describing the transformation. So if you got something like this, you're always comparing it to y equals x or f of x equals x. So you're looking at how did the slope change, how did the y-intercept change. The slope was 1, the y-intercept was 0. The slope is now 5. If it's greater than 1, it's steeper. So they just have 5 times steeper. F of x is same as y.
So x equals y.
Wait, f of x means y, right? F of x means y. So what in that problem exactly is like 5 times. That one's really weird. Okay, I don't know why they wrote it that way, but it's like 5 times whatever the slope was, and then plus 3. Or 5 times whatever the function was, plus 3.
Oh.
I think I understand.
So, was it 1?
The slope was 1.
Oh.
So regardless of what it actually says, what it actually was, the slope was 1, it is now 5. You just have to know that comparison. So that would be steeper because it's greater than 1. And then for the 3, that's comparing your y-intercept, it was at 0, now it's at 3. So those are shifts, moving up or down. So moving up or down, shifting up or down is just y-intercept. Steepness is just slope. If it was less than 1, it would be less steep. And then if it was a negative slope, it was just reflected. So this you can't really do in Desmos. You could visualize it, but that's not it. What other questions do you have? 26 and
I was gonna say 25.
But if we're going to do 26, we'll have to do
29.
Really?
both if you want to, but also 29. Do you want to see both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do 25 first. The slope is now 1/2, which is less than 1, so that would be less steep. The slope is less steep. 1/2 less steep. I didn't write slope in the other one, but that's what it was talking about.
Would it then be shifted down to?
The y-intercept. So then in 26, both things are happening to the slope. Nothing is changing with the y-intercept. The negative is its own thing that tells you it's reflected. The slope is reflected.
Wait, how is reflected, not reversed, right?
Reflected, not reversed.
How is it reflected?
Because of the negative. So usually it's positive, but the negative would switch.
So if it's alone and it's negative, it will be reflected, but what if it's alone and positive? Okay, so if it said like y equals 3 f of x without the negative, would that still be reflected?
No.
What would
That would just be steepness change.
Okay.
It's the negative.
Wait, if it wasn't alone with negative, would it still be reflected?
Give me an example.
The negative of something. Like say it was the same problem.
So then,
but
like,
it was
positive. So like this 3f of x, that would just be the steepness.
So what if you have
So
it's negative and there's no like
well, that's because those are two different things.
wait, then what is this extra number?
3 like the plus 30, that's the shifted up. That's how many times it's shifted up. That's the line.
That's yeah.
So the y-intercept and slope have nothing to do with each other. They're transformations. It could have y-intercept. It doesn't need a y-intercept. That depends on the problem. It doesn't need a negative. It could have one. So like if I put this here, it would be 1/2 less heat and reflected.
Oh,
Or just
so if it's just a negative.
So if it's alone and negative, it's reflected, but if it has something, then that's less heat and reflected.
Yes.
Okay.
So like number 24, it would be like
It would be less heat and reflected. It would not be less heat. It would just be reflected.
Oh,
Just reflected.
okay.
oh right.
Because the slope is just -1. Okay, because I said less than 1. So it's really between 0 and 1. If it's a fraction, it's less heat. If it's just negative, that's just reflection.
How is number 26? How is it similar?
Because the 3 is bigger than 1. The negative has nothing to do with the steepness.
Oh.
Look at 29. It's going to be similar. And then we're going to stop for a second. Because I actually meant to stop 10 minutes ago. Oh, but we have questions. Right, which is fine. Okay, so for 29, same thing, but you're comparing the original. So if you want to draw in the original, you'll have that capability on the SQL to draw. The original is still your y equals x, starting at 0, slope of 1. So it's definitely 2. So we're not writing the equation, we're trying to find what changed, what happened.
Shifted down to.
Not down. Up to. It went up to. The y-intercept shifted up to. It was at 0, so now it's at 2.
I remember how to do this. I'm still trying.
And the slope. It was reflected. One more thing.
It's the steep. Oh, it's steeper.
It's steeper because the slope is now 2 instead of just 1.
So steeper by 2.
Or 2 times steeper, yep. Okay.
So we wouldn't have to like write an equation out for that?
Not unless it asks you to. Okay. So the directions here were describe the transformations, but if it asks you to find the equation, then you would do that. Okay. I wanted to give you time to work on more practice in this. JLabs, 8-ball packet, Delta Map. So for the rest of the class, you could work on that. We're going to do some more desmos hacks on Tuesday.
So I actually forgot.
Yes. I forgot.
It was once